How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the work week. The reason why we do it, maybe you had a stressful day, and you want to come and watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. So here it comes. What do you call a retired miner? Doug. Come on. Not too bad, right? That was pretty good. So today we're going to be talking about CTRM. And it ended up having a tough day inside the market because some news came out in regards to an offering. So overall, what we need to look at is what does this stock actually look like going forward? So what I'm going to be doing a technical analysis so we can see some possible areas where this stock could end up pulling back to and whether there's some opportunities that we could take advantage of. The next thing, we're going to be taking a look at some resistance areas. By knowing this type of price action, then we know, hey, things are looking bullish or things are looking bearish. And it's definitely key, especially at this point. Then after when that technical analysis portion is over, I'm going to be going over the news and the details of the offering from the CTRM website. Then afterwards, I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts in regards to this whole situation with CTRM. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to be doing a technical analysis on CTRM. So it was down negative 20.98%, as you can see over here. Ended up seeing lows of the day at just at 0.5595, so we can call that 56 cents. And ended up seeing a high on the day at 0.6029, which is 60 cents. So one of the things to be aware of is when they announce the offering, you know that it had a dramatic effect on the stock price. And one thing that we realize right here, it's able to really have some support here right at this 58 cents level. So that's something to actually keep an eye on. Where the offering was actually priced at was around 65 cents. And if we take a look at that particular area, there's definitely some support there. So I would definitely look forward to seeing if CTRM could reclaim back to that 65 cents area. And I think it's very doable because currently where it's at, this is actually really low, and I do expect to see a bounce back. If it doesn't bounce back and if it decides to pull back even further, another area to keep an eye on will definitely be right here at this 53 cent level. If this 53 cent level ends up breaking, then we can get down all the way over here to around 45 cents. And if this area ends up breaking, the next level of support that we can see is over here at 38 cents. So that's just something to be aware of just in case it decides to pull back further and what the chart is actually telling us. So when we take a look at what we can bounce back to, I definitely want to see the area of 65 cents being reclaimed. Like I said, this is where the offering was priced at. And then afterwards, when it starts making that move, I definitely want to see it get back to reclaiming into that 70 cents area. And then we can see where it's going from there. As you can see from the 50-day EMA, it's at 74 cents. So if it can kind of catch back up and get to 74 cents, then it can kind of stay within that territory, bouncing back between 80 cents and staying within that 70 cents range. But we're going to have to just keep an eye on it and see how it actually performs. And this is what the chart is showing us currently. But it's definitely interesting to see that right now where it's priced, it is below the registered direct offering price. So it's something to keep an eye on, especially seeing if it can recover back, because that just means that institutions and big time investors believe that CTRM is worth at least 65 cents. So if it's at 58 cents, I could definitely see a bounce coming. So we're now on the CTRM website. We're looking at their press releases. And as you can see here on April 5th, Castor Maritime Inc. announces pricing of 125 million registered direct offering. So as we go over the recent press release for Castor Maritime, as you can see, Castor Maritime Inc. announces pricing of 125 million registered direct offering. April 5th, CTRM announces today that it has entered into a securities purchase agreement with certain unaffiliated institutional investors to issue 192.3 million of its common shares and warrants to purchase up to an aggregate of 192.3 million common shares at a purchase price of 65 cents per common share, and accompanying a warrant in a registered direct offering. The warrants will have an exercise price of 65 cents per share, are exercisable immediately, and will expire 5 years from the following date of issuance. Maxim Group LLC is acting as a sole placement agent for the offering. The gross proceeds to the company from the offering are estimated to be approximately $125 million before deducting the placement agent's fees and other estimated offering expenses. The offering is expected to close on or around April 7, 2021, subject to the satisfaction of customary closing conditions. So we're now on fintel.io. We're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership for CTRM, and we're also going to be taking a look at the short interest. So as we scroll down on the screen, we'll get to see that green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So as we can see recently, as of late, and then this is starting all the way back in February here, that's where we're going to start. It's looking very good. So there's been a number of institutions that have actually been interested in CTRM. We only see a total of 2 closed positions among institutions from February the 11th and also February the 16th. Outside of these time frames, like I said, there's a lot of institutions that have opened up positions in CTRM. One of them being Morgan Stanley, very well known. We also have Barclays, Credit Suisse, we have Royal Bank of Canada, 2 Sigma Advisors, Civi, Virtue. So this is actually looking really good, and a lot of institutions are showing interest as well. So that's something that is good to see. Another thing we want to take a look at now is the short interest. If we take a look at the short volume ratio, it's right here at 42%. So as we know on this channel, anything above 21% is fairly high. So the fact that it's at 42% is actually something that is good to see, and also increases the likelihood of seeing a short squeeze. As far as short shares that are available, it's around 10 million. So quite a bit. And then we look at the short borrow free rate, it's at 5.77%. So when we look at the previous history of the short volume ratio, right now currently it's at its highest at 42.13, but do keep in mind this was last updated on April 1st. So later on today or sometime tomorrow, we should be able to see the most recent update in regards to the short volume ratio. But we could definitely see it looks like it's on quite the uptrend. If we take a look at from March the 29th, it was at 37, and here we are at 42. So I'm very interested to see what this will be looking like for tomorrow. And of course, I'm going to make sure to keep you guys updated and in the loop. Now for my final thoughts for CTRM, I want to emphasize the fact this is part of the reasons why I tell you guys when it comes to penny stocks, it should not be taking up a large portion of your portfolio. Number 2, you also want to make sure that you're always protecting your profits. The reason why you want to protect your profits because these type of stocks are very volatile. So we got that out of the way. The second thing that I want to go over, the CEO also mentioned that, hey, he's making more money off growing the fleet than making money off the common stock. So one thing that we need to be aware of by taking this statement is that he knows, hey, I'm getting paid more by expanding the fleet for this company. So if the stock price is moving in a particular fashion, he's not benefiting the most from that. So also as well, we got to take into consideration, he wants to raise some cash, right? He wants to put it back into the business and grow it. When we take a look at the offering price, it was literally at 65 cents. So considering that it was at 65 cents and the current price is at 58 cents and it was a direct offering. So the fact that it was a direct offering, that just shows that there's a lot of institutions and big investors who are interested in CTRM. They believe in the long-term prospects, right? So just taking that into consideration, that's part of the reasons why I do see this stock getting above that offering price, because there is also demand for it. But it's also one of the things we need to realize that the CEO, if he's saying there's not really much of an incentive for him, if the stock moves, there's more of an incentive in regards to growing the fleet. As an investor, that's something that you want to take into consideration. So these are one of the things I want to make sure you guys understand. So that's why I'm saying, hey, when it comes to these penny stocks, they are volatile and you got to be prepared. And that's why we do these technical analysis videos. And with that said, that makes me want to put in the disclaimer as well. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. You just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. And just to kind of sum up what I just said, now that you're aware of this and you know this as an investor, if you were trading this, it probably doesn't really matter to you. You need to take this into consideration. How do you feel about the CEO? Can you trust this person? Does he have are his interests aligned with yours in regards to the growth of the company? I'm pretty sure he does care about the growth of the company, but in regards to shareholders, that statement and what he put out, that's something that you want to make sure that you keep in your mind. But with that said, we already know this company has been making some progress during this pandemic that we're in, and they're definitely focusing on growth plans overall as well. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and we'll talk soon.